Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast. We're just a few dudes navigating life and talking about it. Thanks for listening.
Oh, so we're ready?
You guys, Joey, what's up, man?
You guys been without me? I hope you guys have been started without me. Hopefully, sorry.
Well, Jordan and I have been on the phone now for 30 minutes talking about you. I can't believe you are late, and this is a huge night for Why Not Us.
I mean, I was at the game. I can't. What do you mean do?
You're like, go ahead and start without us, but we can't interview this guy without you, buddy.
What's that, Jordan?
Do you work both games or just the night?
No, just the second one. I was scheduled to work the second one, so I didn't take off work or anything. No, I wasn't gonna do that crap.
I mean, DeGrom, why not, right?
Well, exactly. But no, I'm pumped. All right, if he's ready, fire away, dude.
Well, we're gonna wait. We're gonna give it just a second because you know how we start every episode. And that was a much different sound because I've got a bottle this time.
A bottle tonight, yeah.
And bottle opener. Shout out to Paris, France, because I did go there one time and got this as a souvenir.
Dude, I've also been to Paris. I've also been to Paris, France. I got food poisoning in Paris, France.
Oh man, that's not good.
So I've not been there.
Tonight is going to be Flying Dog Brewing from Frederick, Maryland.
Maryland, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. Because I guess you were in Northern Virginia and grew up there. I guess you call yourself Northern Virginia or Central Virginia.
No, Richmond. Yeah, no, don't confuse us.
RVA, baby.
RVA.
All right, so it's a fruit punch sour. Don't know what the ABV is. Yes, I do. 5.3.
Oh.
And it says it's a sour, but I really want it to be more sour than what it says.
It's like a wine cooler.
Yeah,
it really
when I drink a sour beer, and the packaging, look at how dope that is. I mean, the artwork on this thing is just
sour punch, huh?
I don't know what's going on there, but that is some.
Wow.
It's pretty freaking cool.
Anyways, Jordan, you've got some whiskey, I think.
Oh, so Jones gonna crack a beer. I'm just gonna crack a bourbon. So
every time he was supposed to do it at the same time, just casually. And
so now we're going with Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch. We got 100 proof. So
he's just gonna rip it right out of the bottle. No big deal.
NBD is right.
Well, big freaking night.
Now
he's got a glycerin glass. Is that
dram for the night?
Big bourbon guy.
I've never seen somebody hunt bourbon like Jordan does.
There's a lot of us out there.
And I worked for a distillery, and I don't do that.
There's a lot of us out there.
Yeah, there is.
Guys, I'm pretty excited about Mike. Like I said, I'll tell him this little story, or I'll tell him this I'll tell him this when we talk to him. But I saw him last night from a distance and almost said something. I thought it would mess with the mojo,
Jordan and I were talking about that. I was like, you know what? I cannot believe that Joey didn't go up and say anything. He'll go up to professional wrestlers and take a photo with them, but he won't go to Viewmaster Mike and talk to him.
No, it was more or less like I didn't want to ruin what we were going to have tonight. It was going to be special. I want to be authentic. I didn't want to be pre-planned. So
that's true. So big episode tonight. Big moment for us at Why Not Us. This is our episode 7. And we are going to be interviewing someone, and that lucky person is Viewmaster Mike. Couldn't think of a better person to interview first. As we've talked before in this episode, Joey, he's got the baseball card that he found in the stadium. You guys know that Joey works the Pirates games in the evening sometimes as an usher. So I sent him DM to Viewmaster Mike, and I was like, hey, man, you want to jump on the pod for a few minutes? I think it'd be kind of cool. To sort of talk about your story and how this thing got started and learn a little bit more about you and just connect Joey and Viewmaster Mike together a little bit,
And here we are.
And look at us now. Took us 7 episodes, Clergy, to get somebody on here, but we got somebody for you. So I'm gonna bring him in. All right. So he's in the waiting room. So I'm gonna bring him in. And we're going to interview Viewmaster Mike. We're going to be with him for the next 15, 20 minutes. If it goes longer, that's okay, because we got some time here. So you guys ready?
Let's do it.
There he is. He can probably hear us. Mike, can you hear us?
I sure can.
There he is.
He is.
Hey, guys.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Not a great night for the Pirates, however. I did see that they lost 10-0. So
Yeah.
sorry about that.
I was actually at the first one of those games today.
Yeah, what time was the first game today?
That was at 12:30. That one started.
Okay. So
I was going to say,
doubleheader.
Mike, I actually saw you from a distance last night, but I didn't want to like introduce myself because I was like, this would be more fun for me to introduce myself. I think you're with maybe your wife, fiance, girlfriend, something. You're with a lady friend or some sort.
I was with my partner. Yeah. We were at the game. That was a great one. That was a good one. Last game. And then I randomly went to this morning's game, and it was a good time.
Yeah, so we've got a group text going, obviously, with us three here, and Joey sends us a picture last night. I mean, it's from a really far distance. I think Joey had to zoom in because I think this is Viewmaster Mike, but I'm not really sure. And I was like, that is totally him.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. Well, you're our first interview here at the Why Not Us podcast, so welcome.
I'm excited to be here. I know you guys are just starting out, and hopefully you guys will get a bunch of followers and views. And
we hope so, man. We hope so. We're out here grinding away. We don't know what's going to come of this podcast, but we record probably about once a week. We thought we were going to do it every 2 weeks in the beginning, but we just liked it so much that we were like, hey, let's just record every week, I guess.
That's great.
Here we are, man. So how long have you been at sort of your gig, man? I mean, you've been sort of hiding the baseball cards, and I saw on TikTok you do some other stuff. Like, tell us a little bit more about it.
You know, I just started collecting baseball cards this year, believe it or not. I randomly one day was at a Pirates game and bought a pack of Topps cards, and I was hooked. From then on, I started collecting like crazy. I've got almost every 2022 card, but I had all these extras, and I was, should I sell them? I didn't know what to do with them. Should I sell them? I was giving them away to some of my friends because, you know, when you collect baseball cards, you have a million doubles. And I thought, what if I started giving some away? If you ever saw the first video, it was just random players. It was just some of my favorite players I had doubles of. And then the second time I went to another game, I decided to say, what if I gave all the visiting team players away? Because that would be neat, because I know a lot of other franchises and their fans, they come to PNC Park and they travel well, a lot of teams when they come here. And so I knew that if I was to leave a lot of like visiting teams, they would be found pretty quickly. And I would get a message here, hey, I found your card. I was like, oh, cool. And then found another card. It is really neat to see the outreach that I get. And just the last game I was at, I didn't leave cards the last two games because I just wanted to sit and enjoy myself. But the last one I went, I got a message from this family from Arizona. And I had the only time, rarely do I leave a Pittsburgh Pirates one, but I left a Cabrian Hayes one. And I got a message, and they were visiting from Arizona. They've never been to PNC Park, and it was really awesome for them. And they thought,
wow,
it was. And I think to me, it's all about when people visit our city, I don't want the perception that I've had when I've been visiting other teams and if I've had a negative experience. I want, when people visit our city that I love, to have an enjoyable experience. And whether it is just leaving a card with a little message on it, it brightens up their day, you know, and I'm all about that. And I'm an implant to Pittsburgh. I'm not native from here. Matter of fact, I'm an Army brat. Yeah, I'm an Army brat. So I'm everywhere. I grew up most of my life, I grew up in Texas.
What part of Texas?
I grew up in Palestine, San Antonio, Dallas, and I was stationed myself when I was in the service in Killeen, Texas, and Fort Hood area. But when I got out of the military, I moved back to this area, and my biggest dream was to live in the city because I loved Pittsburgh so much. And 4 years ago, almost to the day, we made that dream happen, and we love it here. I'm at almost every series, at least for the Pirates. Diehard Pittsburgh Penguin fans too. We're there pretty much maybe 5-10 times a month at a game. Steelers, we're pretty close to the Steelers, but I'm not a Pittsburgh native. I sort of got adopted by the Pittsburgh whole fan base, but originally I actually brought this to show you guys. This is a photograph of myself, my brother, and my sister, and
Look at that.
Texas Ranger fans. And
Yeah.
I still have some Texas Ranger
cool.
blood in me. I do love those guys. That fan base is hurting too for a World Series. They do not have one.
No.
So, but the Texas Rangers are visiting Pittsburgh for a 3-game series this year, and I am so excited.
Yep.
What was your favorite Ranger growing up?
What's that?
What was your favorite Texas Ranger growing up?
I would say Nolan Ryan for sure.
Okay.
So he was my first Ranger game. I was very young, but I remember the excitement when Nolan took the mound. It was just, the place blew up. And he's one of those guys that just was awesome, unbelievable. You know, he had a great tenure with the Astros as well, but you know, he'll always be remembered as a Ranger, I think, mostly because they don't make him like that no more. They don't make
No.
That's true.
They really don't. And Mike, Jordan and I are huge baseball fans. Jordan's actually a huge Cincinnati Reds fan, actually, and he's a nut about it. Had season tickets for years, even as like a young teenager and young college kid. But that's what I got your card. I found it that night, and I brought it up to the podcast and showed these guys, and we just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, man.
Yeah.
We just thought that's awesome that this guy takes the time out of his day to kind of hide these all over the park. And I immediately went to your Twitter handle, your Instagram, and, you know, showed them your TikTok. And we were like, man, this is great. This guy's kind of like passing it forward more or less a little bit, you know, like you're just doing something, leaving a little gift for someone to find. And I found it way late in the game, by the way. I found it like the 8th inning. I wonder if anybody had ever told you when they find it, because you're kind of the one I found. I don't know if I told you well enough, but it was hidden like up in the beam. And I was like, man, this is kind of crazy that it's still here in the 8th inning, knowing that, you know, now what I know that you kind of throw them on, you know, the bars now out in the outfield a lot, or just on a random table on the 100 level.
Sometimes it takes a long time for people to find them. So I'm like, maybe I should just leave them a little more out in there.
But no, we just thought it was so cool, man. I just want to say, I think it's so awesome that you do this and that you do that. And it was just neat for me personally to do it. And now to see kind of, you know, what you do every series more or less and why you do it. So it's awesome, man. I just want to say thanks for it. So
And we went back to look at your TikTok handle whenever Joey told us what your handle was. And in the video where it showed, you know, all your videos, you kind of show where you hide each of the cards. Do you post that before or after you hide them? Or before or after the game, I guess.
Sometimes I'll edit the video while I'm sitting watching the game. It depending on the game. If the game's kind of like not going our way, I'll sit there and I'll edit the video. But usually I'll wait till I get home to edit
So
it.
the video, the one that Joey found, we actually saw Joey in your video. I was like, oh shit,
Really?
there's Joey.
That's awesome.
And then probably wasn't that much longer after that you ended up finding it. Which is super awesome.
That's really funny.
Yeah, pretty cool. So like you're not from Pittsburgh, you're a Pittsburgh implant. You love Pittsburgh. Joey is an usher at the Pittsburgh Pirates games in the evenings, works for the county.
Wow.
But he's not a Pirates fan. So you might have some beef there with Joey.
No, you don't want to hear that, Mike. I'm a Braves fan. I'm born and raised in Richmond. Born and raised in Richmond, like you. I'm a Pittsburgh implant. But my dad actually was born here, more or less. Born 2 hours north. So I grew up like with the Pirates in my background. But being from Richmond, the Braves were there when I was a kid, and my dad worked for the Braves. So I'm a massive Atlanta Braves fan.
That's awesome.
And very lucky in my lifetime. I guess in '95 I was 7 or 8 years old. But obviously with last year with them winning, man, it was great. And that's what you saw it probably for the 2 Yankees games, man. Pittsburgh fans will show up to games like that and are like dying for a winning team, you know? And I don't want to speak ill of any ownership or anything like that. That's kind of played out, unfortunately, but you know, these fans will show up if given the right incentives, we'll say.
Right. And I agree. It's unfortunate that every year that's the same fight, but
yeah,
you never know. Why not us?
It's kind of why?
No, but exactly. That's kind of why we started this, by the way. We're like, why not us? Let's just start it.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Like, I mean, you see the Steelers, you see the Penguins. I just hope the Pirates, and I think the core of the young guys are good offensively. I worry about their pitching a little bit long term. You watch just as much as I do, probably, if not more, honestly. But
I work with some born and bred diehard Pittsburgh Pirate fans, and I just see the hurt, every year. And they're like, "Why are you going? Why are you wasting?" Because I love baseball. That's what it is.
That's why I'm there. That's the same thing, Mike. I don't even, like I said, I don't like the Pirates. I just love baseball.
Mm-hmm. I was excited to see the Mets to like the last couple days. I was excited. I'm starting to see they're an incredible team, and they may win it all this year. And just the fact that I got to see them play twice this year is kind of exciting for me. And the new ballpark app is awesome. It's sort of like you get to collect. It's awesome. I love the ballpark app. It's made it so much more fun.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like collecting baseball cards now, it seems like there's now more than ever, there's a lot more value to the card than maybe in previous years. It's trending back for whatever reason. But have you ever hit a card that has had some sort of value, or you didn't really know it had value until you hit it and you went back and you're like, oh crap, that I shouldn't have hit that card. I should have kept it for myself?
Not yet, but I bet, because this is all the cards I've hidden are 2022 cards.
Yeah.
So I bet in like 5 years, I'm like, should I have given that rookie away?
What's your biggest pull this year when you're ripping packs? What's your biggest pull this year?
Let's see here.
Oh, he's got them in front of him.
I've actually got some of my cards here.
He's ready. Love it, Mike. We love it. We're so
say-
excited to have you here, man. I hope it's emanating through this. I'm pumped to have you here.
So, of course, I have to show off my favorite childhood player, Nolan Ryan. This is a diamond card. I was absolutely stoked when I pulled this out. That's probably my favorite. Also, for the Pittsburgh fans who may be watching this, Roberto Clemente. Yeah, so these are probably my favorite 2 cards that I pulled. Probably going to be worth a little bit. But what you were mentioning about baseball cards becoming hotter, I think what helps that a lot is the Topps Now cards. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Yeah. So you could literally buy a card for something that had just happened at a game you were at. For example,
like a keepsake, more or less, we'll call it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it takes like a couple weeks to get it because obviously that moment had just happened. That last one of the most awesome games I was at, Michael Chavis hit that hit, and we had that walk-off run. If I can pull this card out of this sleeve here. So this is a Topps Now card where we were at this game, and it is neat to actually own a card of a moment that was huge for you. And I think that's what's getting a lot of people back into baseball cards, because how we are right now, everything is so instantaneous. When you can own something a moment that was important to you, that was important to your team, to your city, it's awesome. And I think
that's value. I mean, that's the value right there, right? I mean, yeah.
I think that is where baseball cards needs to keep going if they want to keep selling cards. I'm not a big fan of the digital card collecting. It's not for me. Some people like it, but I like to tangibly own it, have it in my hand, get it in the mail, trade it with someone physically there. There's nothing like that. But I think the direction Topps is going, it's in the right direction.
Where do you usually sit, Mike? Do you have season tickets, or do you do the standing room only seats, or what do you do?
I do not have season tickets, but you would think I do, because I'm at enough games. I like sitting in 125 area.
Okay.
But sometimes there's these 2 random seats that sit way up in, what is it, 325 section. There's these 2 seats that are all by themselves. There's no one on either side of it. We'll sit up there, and it's just a great, beautiful view of the city, and we kind of get left alone. And sometimes like I'll want to be in the mix with everybody, but sometimes I'll just want to watch the game and be left alone. So those are most of the 2. Today I sat in the bleachers next to the bullpen.
Mets bullpen, yeah.
It was a unique experience because the Mets were having a good time, laughing and joking with the fans, and it was fun. I've never sat in that area before, but I really enjoyed it.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe you should be an usher like Joey then, and because Joey gets free tickets, gets to watch the game, and he gets like 4 tickets to each game or something.
Yeah, usually they give us an opportunity to get 4 if they don't sell out.
And you get paid, and you can watch the game. So Joey's figured it out somehow.
I got a free meal tonight too, guys. Since it was a doubleheader, they were offering you free meal, and you got to stay clocked in from the moment the first game started if you were there, guys. Big time there.
Wow.
So
if you need tickets, just hit Joey up. He'll just leave you 2.
Seriously, Mike, if you need something, just text me. They're going to be up top. All those tickets are up top. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind. Just I can go online real quick, and as long as the allotment aren't sold out, I can get up to 4 a game. So
There's not a bad seat in the house.
that's what I tell people. And like you talked about being up top, I tell people. I'm talking to Mets fans tonight. The guy's brought his camera. I'm like, hey, sir, take the elevator up to the 3rd floor, get off, talk to one of the ushers, ask if you can go up to right in center field. Right behind home plate there, and look at the city. It's just gorgeous. It really is.
Yes, it is. And there's another TikTok group I follow. There's these 2 guys, and they went to every ballpark, and they stopped at PNC Park, and they gave it an awesome rating. And it is true.
Is it the 2 brothers or cousins traveling the country in the van? Yeah.
And they eat a hot dog at every place they stop at. I love those guys.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I once challenged myself to eat 10 hot dogs for whatever reason at a Asheville tourist game, and that was a mistake, Mike, I'll be honest.
Well, there's that new challenge going on that you eat a dog for each inning and you drink a beer for each inning. See, the beers wouldn't be too bad.
I would be in trouble.
Because I could eat probably 9 hot dogs in one sitting, but you space it out an entire baseball game, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good at number 6, and then like after that, it was like a downward spiral. It was awful.
Was that in the next day, Ryan? Right?
Yeah, the next day. Yeah, there's a story that we don't have time to tell the next day, but that was a fun time. Oh, well, Mike, we really appreciate you being on here, man. We don't want to keep you too late. It's already almost 11 o'clock at night. We really appreciate you being on here.
Well, thank you guys for having me, and I really appreciate it.
And we're definitely going to be throwing this video up and making sure we tag you. We've got your Instagram handles and TikTok, and we'll do like a special segment where we kind of cut your whole interview out and make sure we post it and try to make it special for you too. And if you don't follow Viewmaster Mike on Instagram, please do that. And then it's Mike James on TikTok.
That is correct. Mike James at 1985 on TikTok.
Yeah, awesome. Go follow him. And if you're lucky enough to find a baseball card, make sure you tag him. His note is going to be written on that card on the back of it. Joey was lucky enough to find the baseball card, and we're going to be itching to see what the value of that card is years down the road. And
dude, Verdugo's he's had a past couple days. I picked it up in fantasy this week.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to say this right now: if that card becomes worth value in the next 5 years, Joey should give Master Mike some profit from that.
I'm going to give it back.
Maybe 10%, maybe 25%, maybe 50-50. I don't know.
I'm just happy that it's helping your fantasy team out. So that's
there we go.
That's enough for me.
I mean, first week of the playoffs, Mike. First week of playoffs, I'm already down 8-2. It's not looking good, but Verdugo hit a home run last night, so I was pumped with it.
You sound about as good as fantasy as I am. So
I almost forgot. Tonight is our Super High Five TV show. So we're going to be doing our top 5 TV shows of all time later on in the show. And I asked you to bring your top TV show of all time. So we're going to let you tell us before we send you off here.
That is a tough question, but I'm going to have to go with the X-Files.
Oh, nice.
Long time, yeah.
I haven't
Jennifer Garner in X-Files? No, she was in it's not X-Files. Never mind. I can't remember what. She was in that other show on ABC.
I think that's one of those shows that I would appreciate like now. Like when the X-Files were on, I was probably a little too young for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what am I, 30? I just turned 34, by the way, guys. So I think it was probably a little too young, or I was a little too young for it, but I think that would be an awesome show to watch today. I don't know if it's on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that, where you can just kind of bang it out and binge watch it.
I think it is streaming, but I don't remember which one it's on.
There's way too many streaming platforms these days,
That is true.
Jordan, I felt like I was cutting in on you there. I felt like you were going to ask a question, but
I thought we were about to forget the TV. I was like, whoa, wait.
Okay. So we got them all then.
We're good.
Well, thanks for following us, Mike.
If you see me at the park, make sure to say hi. So.
Yeah, and Joey will DM you about the tickets, by the way. So I think we should give him some tickets, Joey.
If you need something, you let me know. Absolutely, I'll take.
What's the next home series? Who do they play next?
Friday.
Who do they play?
Cardinals, I think again.
Cardinals, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm there Friday night, Mike, and I'm supposed to be there Sunday technically too. I have family coming to town, so I might tell them.
Well, I'm out visiting my mom. I'm out of town for a while, so I probably won't catch the next couple games. So.
Then what? Elton John next weekend?
Elton John next Friday.
Oh, that'd be a
Big
dope
deal.
show to go see.
I'm
That's a big deal
I
there.
get to work it. I get to go for free.
Joey, what a life you live, my friend. Well, Mike, really appreciate it. Super kind thing you're doing, man. Keep up the good work, and appreciate you coming on here and giving us your time. I know it's late, but thanks for hanging out with us for a few minutes here, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Anything else you want the viewers to know before we send you off here?
Just good luck to all your respected teams. You know.
Oh, what a kind guy Viewmaster Mike is.
I've already moved on to football season. The Reds were done in May, so
I'm going to skip football season. I'm a Jets fan. All right. Mike, we'll see you,
Mike.
man. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. I love guests.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Man,
Now I'm like, now I mentioned like who we're going to bring on next. You know?
I know.
What a good story that guy's got to tell, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's just so cool to me. Like I love seeing too, like you can tell how passionate he is about collecting cards. Like, you know, and how like I mean, I don't know a ton about it. I used to collect them as a kid, but he kind of educated me on some things. And I know Jordan probably is our resident card guy. But that was cool. He was a very nice guy.
it's like a big thing today. Like people
Yeah,
are like
huge.
buying packs just to see if they can get rookie cards, autographed cards, or anything, and they're just selling them. I mean, it's like a multi-million-dollar thing these days. It's unreal.
When it was hitting and trending like in the 90s, my dad was like addicted to it. Like I don't know, I've never gone through any of the baseball cards that he collected, but I've got thousands of baseball cards.
You need to
And
go
I
look.
know I need somebody to like go through them and like figure out like how much all of it's worth and figure out what to do with them.
You need to like find the ones you think are valuable or work with someone, and you got to send them off and get them graded. And then
Yeah.
that's where the money comes in at. I think
I remember he would come home from work like and sit there at the table and he'll have baseball cards just laid out, sorting them all.
I just see
like-
Don just ripping packs, putting them down.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
good, this is bad. Here's a
Big-
duplicate.
Big deal back then. Big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Joey, I'm glad that you found that card so we could connect
Yeah.
with Viewmaster Mike here. And I think it'd be also cool if you were really able to give him tickets.
Yeah, no, I'll message him now before I forget. But that's why I was curious. I was like, I hope he has season tickets, or I hope he doesn't buy them every night. Or I mean, like, I try to educate people a little bit. Like the Pirates do this thing called the Ballpark Pass, and it's a $24.99 pass for the entire month, and you can go. You don't get an actual seat, but it's standing room only. But there's 15 to 20 games a month. Like that's a deal.
And also, too,
and
you
I always
can
tell
find
people
any
it gives-
seat in the ballpark.
Well, there's that, but I always tell people it gives you the option to go, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, as opposed to you saying, I have this ticket, I need to go to the game tonight. Well, I don't really want to go tonight. You know, I'll go tomorrow night because I can go. You know, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think when we went to the game, when we went to Zach Counts' bachelor party there, I think the ticket was like $7,
Yeah.
like super cheap. And you know, you can buy a cheap ticket if you're just with your buddies and going to be hanging out and you're going to be having some drinks or whatever. You can buy the cheapest ticket you can buy and just walk around the stadium and just find a spot, you know. And nobody's probably going to say anything to you unless they're an usher like Joey O'Toole. He's a stickler for the rules, you know.
And it's, I mean, it is what it is. But like the Pirates, it's probably cheaper to not have season tickets. People are trying
That
to
is
get
very
tickets
true.
on StubHub. He's probably getting in the ballpark for like $2.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think that was.
they still got
Jordan.
those all-you-can-eat seats out in right field.
They do not. No.
You don't have them anymore. That's been a
Dang.
long time since I've been to those.
How's your bourbon there, Jordan?
It's great.
Now I'm wishing I had some bourbon for my end cap after this fruit punch. I'm kind of tired of this, if I'm honest. Wish I could.
I'll bring some. We can have some Friday after the rehearsal dinner. Come downstairs. We rented out a room to have like a
Oh, there we go.
little welcome get together. Be a lot of beer and wine and stuff. So
And now I've got some equipment that we can just flip on the recorder. You know what I mean? In person. How about that, fellas? I've got the tools.
We need some wedding footage, like
Yeah.
bedroom.
Get Jack free game. Give Jack free game. of what he's going to say during the nuptials?
That's what we should do. We should interview the clergy. And I told him we were gonna blur his face out in any photo we post or any video that we do. And he's like, you see, I've created a little thing for you guys now, huh?
Even though he's trying to do the Euro step in one of those videos, like clear as day, you can see him. I mean,
You know, I think on like episode 150, we're probably going to say the clergy on every episode. It's going to become a thing. We're going to have a lot of followers at some point, and the clergy with a blurred out face will be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think
love
that's
it.
going to happen.
I think we have to put that Gene Pappy photo on a t-shirt.
We're gonna have that, and then we're gonna have one like I failed the milk challenge like Jordan Childress did. That's another one.
Oh man, yep. We still got to do the milk challenge.
I got to
guys.
do
We
that
are
after the
behind.
honeymoon. I can't do that. Before
Yeah, you're
the
fine.
wedding.
We got time. We're not
After
pressuring you or anything.
after I get back from Barbados, I'll do that.
All right, so you're going to Barbados, huh? Okay,
Going to Barbados.
that'll be
Home
fun.
of
Are you
what,
going directly
Rihanna?
after, or are you waiting a little bit and then going?
Sunday, like 6 o'clock, we're going to fly out to Miami, stay the night, and then fly into Barbados the next day. I'm not a big travel all the way to a place on the same day. Like when you go on a cruise, they like say get there a day before and not travel in the day because that boat's leaving without you.
Yeah.
I think there's too much to go wrong when you have a couple of, got a layover or whatever. So
Yeah, I like to just like get it over with and get to where I'm going. But that's the way I am. I like get from point A to point B as fast as possible, and then just like hopefully relax.
Amen.
And we're going to Florida next week. We've got a wedding we've got to go to next week, and then we're going to spend some time at Disney after.
Oh hell yeah!
So that's going to be fun times.
Wait,
A little bit
what's
stressful,
going
with a newborn, flying for the first time, and doing all that. But hopefully it'll be
Wait,
okay.
what parks are you going to, Jens?
What's that?
Which parks are you going to go to?
I don't know right now. Actually, I don't know which parks they got tickets to.
Okay,
I think Universal.
that's not
is
Disney,
one.
but okay.
Oh, it's not Disney.
Disney.
Sorry. What is
I knew
Magic
Joe was
Kingdom?
going to correct that.
I'm a big
Magic
Disney guy, dude. I'm a
Kingdom.
big Disney guy. I love my Disney
I know.
World.
I'm trying to think. What's the one with the big castle? Which is
That's Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. That's
Animal
the one I was-
Kingdom, Epcot, and
Epcot. We're
MGM.
going to Epcot one day.
MGM, aka Hollywood Studios, what it's called now. But growing up, it was MGM Studios.
Yeah, and I think we're staying like on the Disney campus.
All right, which hotel, which property, we
Oh
need
boy,
information.
I should have
here.
came prepared for this. Joey knows too much.
Love Disney. I think Disney World has got it. They've thought of everything. I know they might have some inhumane labor practices, whatever. They are unbelievable when it comes to marketing. Wait,
Yeah.
That's Jones. I want you to think about that right now and report back what you think. They thought of everything. It's amazing.
Yeah,
There's no
I've been
stone
a
left
couple
unturned
times.
on that.
I haven't been in probably 3-4 years.
Okay, so you've been in as an adult. I've been twice, and the one time as a kid, you're just a kid, right? As an adult,
Right.
I just gained a massive appreciation for what they do there.
Oh, totally, man, totally. And now you can go to, is it Epcot
Exactly.
where they have all the restaurants and the beers that they have like a craft beer like tent kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or- yeah. So they
Drinking
kind of
around
make
the
it cool
world,
for
what
the
they call it,
adults and parents too.
It's great.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll report back. That'll probably be around like episode 9. And I think what we should do now is take a break, and we should probably hear from our sponsors. Lincoln Road is a pretty good sponsor of ours. A coffee roastery based in Pikeville, Kentucky, with 2 locations in Pikeville and Norton, Virginia. And I probably won't have to now cut the video in because I'm talking about it currently. But if you like coffee, if you like sparkling tea, if you like kombucha, if you want to subscribe and get coffee every single month, go to lincolnroad.coffee. And fellas, if you use the code Why Not Us Pod, you're going to get 10% off of your order. How about that? I created a little discount code because I can do that.
Love it. You might know a person who.
I know the guys that own it. They're pretty cool.
So I've heard the same thing.
10%.
You have? Okay, cool. That's great.
That Jordan just got Jordan's like 10%, baby. Sign me up.
10%. I've never had coffee in my life, so I'm not the greatest advocate for that. But 10%, guys, sign
Yeah.
up.
I can't believe Jordan has not had coffee.
I
That
thought you
just
bought
blows
stuff
my
from him
freaking
before.
mind.
Jess did. My better half drinks coffee.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay.
I'm running on what God gave me until I need a little booster.
I cannot survive without coffee going through my veins. Let me just say that right now. I wake up, the first thing I think about is one, brushing my teeth. I'm a guy that brushes his teeth the first thing he wakes up. I don't eat breakfast and drink coffee and then brush my teeth. I have to brush my teeth first. I don't know what it is. But then I drink my coffee, and then from then on, I'm pounding it till like 1 or 2 p.m.
It's funny that 2/3 of this podcast doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
But we have a coffee sponsor. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Hey, whatever keeps the lights on.
What were they doing? Welcome back, fellas. That was a really short break, really short. But I think it's time to get into the second half of the program here. Huh?
Yeah.
I concur.
Joey, I think what we should talk about is the Hokies for a second.
Oh no, let's not do that. Don't do that
Let's
to me.
get Joey riled up a little bit. Let's get him riled
Look,
up.
man, I didn't want to admit this to anybody, but I didn't watch a single down of that football game.
Did you follow it just on like on the Google updates or whatever?
I just followed it from people texting me. I worked a wedding that night for starters, but the current state of the program, and I'm not knocking, Brent Pryor or anything. That's not my point of this. Is I was spoiled. We won when I was in school. We won since I was been a fan, and we're not winning anymore. And you call me a fair weather fan or whatnot, but I don't know if I can watch this team play. And I'm glad I didn't watch them play, because apparently it was just a comedy of errors, like things that even like a decently coached football team stuff shouldn't happen with. I don't know if you guys both watched it or not. Maybe you can enlighten me more. But I told myself I was going to go watch some highlights. I haven't even done that. The only thing I watched was that kicker getting the ball, or excuse me, the holder getting the ball snapped over his head. That was all.
That was a big play.
That was like in the second quarter. That was like going into halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Really? See, that's the same. I just can't. There was a long time in my life that I would carve out time to watch this team and this school. But right now, football wise, I have not. I've decided, because it's just going to upset me. That's what it's going to do, Jones. It's going to put me in a bad mood. And
you're starting to act like a Jets fan a little bit.
It's not that I don't want us to win either, or I don't want to sound indifferent. It's upsetting to me that where we are right now, and I know that's not like
they're a couple years away.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think he just needs some time.
2024 is when I think he should finally start getting judged a little bit, and that even early, in my opinion. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to win at any level of sport.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally, man.
And they don't give these people any time to build a program, and hopefully the fan base understands that, our AD understands that, the athletic department understands that. But I'll tune in eventually. I'll catch some games this year, but I had forgotten that it was even a Friday night game going into the week, and I already committed to work, a wedding. So the wedding.
I went before we jumped on the pod here. I went and found on YouTube you can watch pretty well the whole game in like 11 minutes. So I did that just to kind of catch up, because I knew we would maybe touch on it here a little bit. But there were some huge turnovers by the Hokies, man, like 4 interceptions or 5 interceptions.
5 total turnovers.
Blocked field goal that turned into a touchdown. And, ODU capitalized almost every time.
Also, what we're not talking about is the second half was delayed because Virginia Tech's assistants got stuck in the elevator.
No way.
And at the end of the game, a bunch of wallets and all this shit was stole out of the locker room.
So that's what I was going to talk. I was going to talk about Jordan. Jordan and I have actual experience with this stuff happening. I don't think people understand at a lower level school, and I'm not calling ODU lower level, but at a school that doesn't have the necessary funds to properly secure these areas, this happens more than people realize. It just goes unreported. Jordan and I know that Liberty showed up to Winthrop, if you remember, Jordan, and women's basketball team got a bunch of stuff stolen out of their locker room, in an arena, right? But in these arenas as well, students have access to these arenas. And you usually have a key to lock the door, but you don't know who else has a key to get in that room. Like, that's what people don't realize. Like, it's just not you that has a key to get in. Someone else might have a key. And I don't know what's going on with that, Jordan, but
I don't know. I just know that they reported there was items stolen in the locker room. One of the players, I don't know if it was Holyfield, somebody tweeted out like early Saturday morning that that like things were taken out of the locker.
Yeah, and I guarantee you it happens. I hate to say this, guys, but weekly.
I didn't realize that
on these college campuses.
Jones,
who is really stealing the stuff? Is it like students or fans, or is it the other team? Like,
you don't know.
Mm.
You really don't know. Because like, someone was like, well, aren't there cameras? Well, no, not really. Like, I don't think you understand that. Like I'm gonna credit UVA, because you go to UVA, play in John Paul Jones Arena for basketball. You've got keys, you've got security, you've got all the layers there, right? But they have the necessary funding to do that. You go to Old Dominion's basketball arena. I've never been there. I don't know, but I don't think you're going to have the same level of security layers in place.
You know who I think about, Joey? Longwood, when there'd be PE classes going on, or like sports administration classes going on while we were like playing the game.
Correct. I don't think people understand that. Like, you show up to a school like that, and they share the gym with their PE majors, and you've got to work around the collegiate class schedule. Like, that's sure, that's I wouldn't say it's a rare case, but it's a small case. Like, the other people use these gymnasiums and these facilities. So it's fascinating, man. It's funny that like it made news. I haven't heard that ever make news. And I'm sure, like I said, Jones, I promise you it happens weekly. I mean, I know it sounds nuts, but
that is nuts.
I don't think it happens in your power fives, but the lower fives and your mid majors, it happens.
Yeah, correct. And here's the other thing, like, Jones, usually, like you said, you're gonna get a key or a code or something from whomever, or someone's gonna physically walk you to and from the locker room. But sometimes it's on like the individual team to open and shut the locker room. Like, I'm responsible for it, or a manager is. So that's what you do. You delegate it, and in theory, if you delegate to a manager, it's still whomever may be doing the delegating. But those are things that like you have to worry about as a DOBO, or I don't know what they call the director of football operations, a DOFO. I don't know. DOFO, but that might not be that might not be their thing at the DOFO. That was my job as a DOBO, but a DOFO I feel like is going to do other things than worry about that. I think you allot that to a manager probably, but yeah, man, it's crazy. People don't realize those things, and it happens.
And Tech's got to go there like 8 more times over like the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's silly, but you know what? That's what they did, and they decided to go play there. And I mean, I think they should keep going, man. Screw it. I don't understand. You had a contract, you honor it. That's how I see things.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hokies were coming out firing, it seemed, and then they were making turnovers, and turnovers are going to cost you, the game. That's all it is. When you make 5 or 6 turnovers, you're not going to win probably.
No, right? I would love to see the percentages and the numbers of teams that have 5 turnovers win a football game.
That'd be a good stat to throw up in the edit, I think. So if you could find that, that'd be great.
Absolutely. No, we'll look into that. And I mean, here's the thing: they're not supposed to be good. So no. I can't figure out how they're favorites at Boston College against Boston College this weekend to open up at home. Not that Boston College is any better. They lost as well to Rutgers, but there's no way that team wins this weekend. I could be wrong, but granted, I say that not having watched it down, so don't listen to me, folks.
Yeah. Well, football is back. That is for sure. It is back. And tomorrow night's a big game as well, Thursday night football. So the Rams and the Bills are playing. So I know the Clergy and his wife are going to be really rooting for the Bills there tomorrow night. See what old Allen can do against Stafford. We'll see. And I can't watch the game, because the Amazon NFL Thursday night games don't start until the following week on the 15th. For whatever reason, Bezos didn't work that out into the deal. I don't get it.
It's on NBC, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You can pull up the NBC app, NBC Sports app. Should be free to watch.
No way. Get out of here.
No, I'm serious.
I do have Peacock, so that's NBC.
Yeah, it'll be on Peacock. I watched the Super Bowl on Peacock this year.
Yeah, you'll have that, Jones. You'll be good.
Yeah. I'm money.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. Well, golf is still here. Jordan played some golf over the weekend, and you played a lot of golf because Jess was gone on her bachelorette party.
Yep.
How did it go? Looked like you had a pretty low round, and it might be your lowest round in a while. I don't know. I
Um,
think we should hear about
yeah, I walked 9 Friday at this place called Oak Valley Country Club. It's semi-private. And then Saturday I played at a place called Salem Glen Country Club. And then Sunday I played at this place called Tanglewood. It is a public park per se, but also there's 2 golf courses in this public park owned by the county, and it hosted the 1974 PGA Championship,
it. Oh,
which Lee Trevino edged out Jack Nicklaus, I think, by 1 or 2 strokes. They got a ton of memorabilia in the clubhouse. It was pretty cool.
that is neat.
They've got like the old leaderboard, a bunch of photos. I think they got the check in there, like the big check or whatever. So pretty cool. But then again, like too, when you play those courses a lot, you know where to hit the ball and all that. It's a little different when you go to courses you absolutely have no clue at. So I think that's where like handicaps and stuff just like they are what they are. You play a course 15 times, you should be expected to play well. But no, it was great this weekend. It was great. It was just me and the dog and the cat, and I did my chores, and then I went and played golf in the evenings.
Was it so you didn't have a golf partner the whole time?
I played with a buddy on Sunday at Tanglewood, but
Okay.
Friday was just me. Or Saturday it was just me. I tried to watch the app UNC game as long as possible because it was much CTV.
Yeah.
It was unreal. And then my tee time was like edging up on that, so I left. Both courses are like less than 10 minutes for me.
That's awesome, man.
So like I just kind of rushed over there and literally just got in the cart and took off.
Tell you what, I'm itching to play again after the bash at the beach. I really got the itch to play, but I don't have time right now to play. So there's that. And then it's going to be dark at 6 o'clock in the evening here pretty soon, and then it's going to get cold.
Yeah.
Probably should go south and stay for a while.
Let's work on that golf trip, dude.
Golf season here is like you're golden until like January.
That's awesome.
A couple years ago, father of twins and 2 other German club guys, we went and played Pine Needles like the weekend before Christmas, and it was like 80. Cool. We wore shorts, like it was wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can south.
My weekend was I split a bunch of wood, and I'll throw the video up here or the pictures that I took. Had 2 dead trees in my backyard here that I finally borrowed a chainsaw from my neighbor, also borrowed a wood splitter, and I chopped it all up and I split a bunch of wood, and now I have wood for probably the next 10 years. It is ridiculous the amount of wood I have. I told Kelly I was going to start selling bundles in the neighborhood here. And
$10.
$10 a bundle. Yeah, get like 4 or 5 pieces of wood, $10. I'll probably be rich at the end of the day because I have so much.
4 or 5. We need more than 4 or 5, man. What do you? Jeez.
You ever been to Lowe's, man? Like Lowe's, you get like 5 pieces of wood and you got to pay like $10.
Yeah,
I'm used to just seeing them on the side of the highway where you drop the $10 in and you grab the bundle and then head out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe I should do that. I've got a nice little spot where I could do that. Just drop a little box there, put a few bundles in, see if people leave a little bit of cash. And then my riding lawnmower broke down on me. I was fixing that. I had a belt issue. I posted it on the pod. That video, for whatever reason, got a lot of views.
But you told me, yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So we've got a few videos out there that are getting some really good views right now. If you don't follow us, Why Not Us Media on Instagram, you probably should go do it now.
Love it. Love it.
Go ahead.
I worked this weekend. I told you guys a little about it. Girlfriend's family was in town. Nothing too much exciting going on. I'll get to a little bit of it and burnt the bacon. But
oh wow,
watch football. I'm glad football's back. Went to a Pirates game as a fan, as opposed to working. It's a good weekend.
That's great, man. And I put this out there, a filler out there on our Instagram page too. If we get 1,000 followers by Saturday, now this is crazy. If we can do it, everybody's got to send it to their friends. They got to say follow Why Not Us Media on Instagram. But if we get 1,000 followers by Saturday, I'm going to give 10 people coffee. 10 followers, some free coffee. If
Of
we
their
can do it.
choice. Of their choice.
Of their choice. I don't really care. You just
Yeah.
select what you want. I'll send it to you.
So we have 990, 950 to go.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a lofty goal.
Hey,
It's a
I love
lofty
it.
goal.
Hey,
But I think we could do it, man.
We don't shoot for the stars. Why even try?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just keep saying that every week. I'll come up with something. If we get 1,000 followers by Saturday,
Viewmaster Mike put it the best. Why not us?
Why not us, baby? Why not us? And I think. Go ahead, Jordan.
No, go ahead. I got another Pirates question for Joey once we're done here.
Go ahead, fire it away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joey, next weekend when you're working the Elton John, you need to get a picture with Zach so we can post that.
Oh yes, Zach's supposed to be coming. Yes, I'll be working.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
What my wedding venue's banging on the door, telling me I need to work a wedding. I said no, I'm working Elton John. I'm not working a damn wedding over Elton John.
All right, fellas. For the sake of time, I think we've got to move on here. And I think we should probably skip the Did You Knows and go into Burn the Bacon. Sounded like Joey had to burn the bacon, so I'm going to let you fire away, man.
And you guys have seen this in firsthand as I've gotten older here, but like, who burned my bacon this week is like Father Time. Like, I had a great time. I drank all afternoon and all night at the Pirates game, and then the next morning, like, I can't function. Like, I'm that hungover from like a couple beers, it seems like, and like, I just don't get it. I don't understand why I keep getting, like, my head hurts, and it's just frustrating and upsets me. And it, like, I love, and it's not that like I drink a lot. I don't, and that's probably part of the issue, but like, I enjoy drinking beers and having a good time and the way it makes me feel, but then I hate how it makes me feel the next day. So I guess Father Time is burning my bacon. Alcohol is burning my bacon. I don't know what you want to call it, but man, I was out of commission from like 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And I'm at this party, just sitting on a couch by myself because I can't function outside hanging out with people. And I didn't want to drink anything else, and I'm waiting on these ribs to finish, and Hank's being a jag. So I got to take Hank home. So I drive Hank home, which was great for me because I needed to get away. But I was like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Any tips out there, people listening? Help me out. Help me reverse Father Time. And
we were good on the bachelor party. I thought we all handled that as good as we could have.
Joey was sleeping in the afternoon for like 4 hours.
That's another thing that happens to me, guys. I get so tired that, like, and I don't know if I'm not sleeping well. Maybe it's my diet. I don't know. That's what happens to me, though. I run out of steam, and like I just can't do it like I used to.
Got two things. One, you don't drink coffee. You probably should. That helps out. And number two, it seems like you might not drink enough water, or you don't drink like a BioLite or liquid IV.
No, I don't drink that stuff. I'm trying to incorporate some Gatorade into my life, but I don't. That's not good for you.
You're not hydrated enough. That's the problem. That's why you feel so bad.
The only things I actually drink usually on a weekly basis: water, a Dr. Pepper here and there, and then that's it. Like, occasionally I'll drink beer, but that's it.
Well, Joey, I got a surprise for you. I'm having Chick-fil-A delivered to the reception at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Hope that helps.
That the Lord's chicken should help dry you up.
Well, and that's the other thing, guys. There's sometimes where I'll get hungover before the night's even out, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, so I don't know. It's just frustrating.
We've got to figure this out for Joey. But I think it's water or liquid IV or
the next
something.
Morning, give me like an IV person show up at my house.
Just drink the liquid IV. That you don't need the bag of IV.
It's 3 bottles of water in one.
And here's the thing with me and that. And my girlfriend, I think, has plenty of those here, but I don't like putting that stuff in my body. I don't know why. It's just me. I think, like, I don't know, because I'll take Advil. I will take that in the morning to try to help me, but I have to try it. It's one of those things like I got to ease into, and I don't know.
It's basically salt water with a little flavor.
Did we really? Oh, I didn't drink any of them. So
the pack had 48 of them in it. I'm pretty
sure they were all gone.
We drank.
I think I ripped like 3 or 4 a day, probably, maybe even more, because I'm like conscious about that. Like, yeah.
Well, you also were sweating out way more than you put in.
Buddy, was I sweaty? Here's my go ahead.
Long story short, who burned my bacon?
Okay, Joey.
Myself, I guess. Myself who burned my bacon. I don't know.
Getting older.
Getting old. construction
All right, Dixie
again.
Chicks.
Construction again is burning my bacon. There's some
Oh.
new construction out here on a very highly trafficked area on 20 US 23 here in Pikeville. And again, it's just like, people just slowing down when they don't really need to slow down. And it just like opens back up. And here we are. There's 1,000 cars going 5 miles an hour. It just really frustrates me that people don't know how to drive. And that's what burned my bacon, and the construction also, but more so that people don't really know how to drive. They need to go back to Joey's driving school. That's what burned my bacon.
Burned his bacon.
Jordan, anything for us?
He played golf all weekend, and his
Yeah.
wife was on her bachelorette party. He was
He had some
good.
wedding things to do this weekend. The week, ain't nothing this week so
Yeah.
far.
I had to write the Clergy script. Had
Do
to
you have my speech written? Do you have a speech written for me too already for myself or no?
No, you need to write that. I did buy you a groomsman gift.
All right, appreciate that.
No, mine's part of life this time of year, but school buses. Like it's like a mad dash to get to work these days. Like you just can't time it right. And like school buses are never on the same schedule. They're within like maybe 10 minutes of normally when they stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I can't really say it's burned my bacon, but that's what's grinded my gears lately. But hey, I mean, I'm glad people still take the buses.
That's right,
Our
man.
taxes are
I
paid
took a
for
bus.
it. Yeah, I'm glad kids are still riding the bus.
Yeah, bus
Kids
63 for me.
Kids that ride the bus also don't pack their lunch. I
Yeah,
always associate those. The kids that their parents like drop them off school in the morning, they pack their lunch.
that is very solid correlation.
I will always say that.
Really? I don't think
Yes.
so. I don't know.
At least in Hayside.
In my experience, that's the truth.
I rode the bus up until I could drive myself, and I always packed my lunch. I mean, I say always. My mom usually packed my. I don't know.
But you're
Maybe
not
that's
just
just me.
like trying new things. You like what you like, and you stick with that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So, Joey's a creature of habit.
Gentlemen, maybe one of these days people will stop burning our bacon. But until then, we're gonna keep saying what burned our bacon every week.
It's gonna keep sizzling.
It's gonna keep sizzling. It's gonna be burned. It's gonna be black. We're gonna have to throw it away every week. Something's gonna happen.
Joey, I also appreciate you calling your puppy acting like a jag. That was such a Pittsburgh thing for you to say just then. I just want to say Emily should be very proud.
When Emily and I we worked that in. Hank's.
I didn't understand it, but I just went with
He's
it.
being a jag off.
Yeah, when Hank's a jag, when Hank's a jag, he goes to jag. We put him in jag jail, which is just crazy. Jag jail.
And she often posts pictures of him or videos of him in there, so it's like he's messing up a lot.
His friend's like a 2x4 right now or something.
It is. He loves this. It's a piece of a dresser that's like fallen off, and like we're giving it to him. And I'm like dead serious, gonna go to freaking Lowe's or Home Depot, no free ads, and go buy some wood and just give it to this dog. So
I've got plenty of wood.
Yes, you do.
And now we're going to move on to super high fives. We have a really solid super high five for you, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. This week is going to be super high five all-time TV shows. Jordan is already talking a little bit of smack in the group chat that he is going to just blow us out of the water. I think that I've got a pretty solid top five here, and just don't think that Jordan's really gonna,
Well, if he thinks he's so good, Jones, let him lead off.
We should.
I have the number one television show of all time. There's no argument. My number one.
Well, you got to go 5-1. So don't
start
tell
with
us yet.
number 5.
Number 5, a Showtime favorite, Shameless.
Oh, great show!
I mean, it's tough to beat Frank Gallagher and the gang. I told Jess this too during COVID. If anybody would have thrived during COVID, it would have been Frank Gallagher. With all the handouts and not having to work and get paid for it, Frank would have been loving.
I'll say too that is if you're like trying to be
exactly. Last season was COVID for them, and he like thrived during it. But like if it was a real life person, he would have loved it.
If you're trying to be like health conscious or whatever during like the Shameless era, like it's hard not to drink and watch that show. They just get rip roaring drunk like every episode honest.
And also it's like real life. There are
Oh
people
yeah,
out there who are like
Slums.
struggling to make it, and it like kind of opens your eyes of like how life can be in inner city.
Sure.
Number 4, Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
Also
Very
good.
solid TV show.
Big eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Exactly. Coach
Lila
Taylor
Garrett.
and that crew. Very, friend of the podcast, Cronin, lives in the same town that the show was filmed in, Pflugerville, Texas. The Pflugerville Panthers are the Dillon Panthers. So
Viewmaster Mike may have even lived there at some
he
point.
may have lived there.
He spent a lot of time in Texas.
Number 3, an HBO classic, Entourage. Vinny
Oh,
Chase
yeah.
and the boys is great. Ari Gold gave us gold for as long as that show was on, and it would not be on TV today for the kind of character that Ari Gold was.
My sister named her dog Ari because of that reason.
Exactly. There's unreal clips out there of Ari Gold.
That's a good fun fact, Jones.
You like
It's a
that?
fun fact. It's a family fun fact.
It worked well for that. So did
Yeah.
you know?
Number
It is-
2,
Yeah, go ahead.
very similar to what our podcast is, Seinfeld.
Oh, all right.
Seinfeld's a classic. You could turn it on. You don't have to watch it in order. It's literally a show about nothing. You just flip it on when it's on TBS at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5, whatever, and just pick up watching it.
This isn't on my list, but I like the Seinfeld Cars and Coffee and whatever it is on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's
They
like a
did-
really long title, but it's a good show.
And it's very quotable. It's one of the more quotable TV shows. Kramer and George Costanza's. It kind of lives on. Everybody. It's like either like Seinfeld or Friends. That was kind of during that era. And number 1, I think it's the all-time TV show, Sopranos.
Oh,
Sopranos is my number one.
some of those surprised me on your list.
I rewatch 4 of those every year. I'm currently rewatching Shameless. I've started Friday Night Lights, and I rewatch Entourage every spring, and I watch Sopranos. I start it usually every December and finish up around February of every year. That is my top 5.
I love it. Creature of habits. Being a
No
creature of
kidding.
habit.
Creature of
It's like,
habit.
How do you have time to do anything else?
I usually watch them on my lunch break. My lunch break's an hour. I can usually knock out an episode and a half.
Yeah.
And my honorable mention is The Wire.
Okay.
The Wire is another solid TV show.
Some of those you must have watched, like The Sopranos. Obviously, that was like in early 2000s when it.
So when it was popular, it was back when people had.
I was way too young to watch it whenever it was popular. Probably. I remember my dad watching it. I think I was in like maybe high school.
Well,
like
we had
young.
bootleg DirecTV back in the day. Remember, you used to be able to get
Yeah.
those cards people would copy.
Oh yeah.
I had one of those and it had HBO on it, and so I'd watch it like in like the 6th, 7th grade. I appreciate it more now.
That's a show that I'd like to go back and watch now that I would appreciate it and understand it. Like back then, I was just.
I love everything about the Italian culture. I love everything about it.
It's interesting to me. I only watched 2 of those 5 shows. That's what's going to be so fun to hear Jones yours as well. I think this has to do with taste as well. Shout out to our former basketball player Jada Worthy for the Shameless show. We never would have watched it if not for her watching it on a bus one time.
Shameless is not on my list, but I love that show.
Good
I
show.
binge watch it. Like started watching it late, and there were already like 5 seasons up or something like that. And that is literally all I did in the evenings for like a month or something, and caught up pretty quick.
Joey and I caught on around mid-season 2.
2, yeah, I think it was 2.
Something
Nice.
like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ready to fire away, Joey. You want to go last?
Yeah, go for it, Jones.
All right, I'm going to go with a classic, a 90s show. So I kind of try to split these up into like when I was a kid and then, maybe when I was in high school or early college and then, as an adult as well. But Saved by the Bell, man, number 5. That show, like I remember waking up at like 7 o'clock in the morning and it was like always on. Saturdays watching Saved by the Bell first thing in the morning. And I grew up with 2 older sisters. Like we always were watching Saved by the Bell. I mean, that show is great. And I think, Jordan, you mentioned Saved by the Bell on the pod before. I can't remember in what context.
Well, it was always when you were getting ready in the morning or whatever.
I
Yeah.
did. I mentioned it.
We had talked about it. Joey mentioned it. We were talking about it. It was always on when you were getting ready for school.
Yeah. And number 4, this is a show that I started watching in college, and I just couldn't get enough of it. Dexter.
It's a good one. It's got a cult following.
And I think that this year, or was it last year, there was a new season that I haven't watched yet, so don't ruin it for me.
Same.
So that show to me was addictive, and it was like you couldn't predict what was going to happen. And it's just really, really, really great. 3, Breaking Bad.
That's a top 5.
Oh man,
of all
that
time.
show is fantastic. And then number 2, I'm going to go with Parks and Rec. And I actually started watching it again recently. It's one of those shows you can have on in the background. Leslie Knope is just a freaking hilarious person in the show. There's a bunch of characters: Ron Swanson, Leslie Knope. What's Chris Pratt's character's name?
Andy Dwyer.
Andy Dwyer. Yeah, there's just like character after character, and they're so funny. And Ron Swanson's character is just so funny to me. And then
Duke
number
Silver.
1,
Duke Silver too. Don't forget Duke.
Duke Silver.
oh yeah, Duke Silver. And then my favorite show of all time is The Office, and I think I've watched all 7 seasons through all the way, probably more than Jordan has watched Entourage or any of his shows all the way through. I went through a phase there where that is literally all I watched. And I would rewatch the seasons over and over and over. And it's just one of those shows to me that just never get old. And you find out something new every time you watch it. It's just a really funny show. Probably wouldn't work in today's time, I would say. Because if you go back and like listen to some of the humor and some of the jokes back then, they probably would have gotten canceled by now. But the show is so funny.
Probably the same as Parks and Rec. Both of those had
Yep.
kind of like little jokes that you really had to like be paying attention to get sometimes.
Yeah. So TV shows kind of have a different, feel to them now because everybody's just scared to get canceled. But I think The Office is my all-time favorite.
All right. Well, I'll bury the lead. Jones and I share 2 of the same 5 shows.
Oh, yes.
So for number 5 for me, I could have interchanged. I did very similar to Jones. It was I chose some of my childhood, some of my adulthood / college, to some of after college. So that's where we are now. First off, I think there's tons of great TV content out there. I'm a big TV show guy. I spent a lot
like
of time
TV shows better than movies. I don't know about you.
Correct. Same. I spent a lot of my life in my room watching shows. Number 5, Boy Meets World, guys. Big Boy Meets World.
Oh man,
Big
great.
Boy Meets World for me. That and my 4, Saved by the Bell, both interchangeable for me. So 5, Boy Meets World. Corey, Topanga, Eric, Sean Hunter. I mean, I could just go on and on. I just, I loved it. 4, Saved by the Bell. Jones, I was going to jump in and say, oh, that was mine as well. There we go.
Jordan's pulling out the DVD.
Complete collection.
The complete collection. Saved by the Bell. Jones, you didn't talk about the college years, but I think I throw those in there as well.
Oh yeah, I like that.
The Mike Golick portion of it. You have the Alex and Leslie bringing in as the 2 new characters.
And by that, if you stuck with them like from early on until the college years, you were like so invested in each character and
Good Morning
everything.
Miss Bliss too, and talk about those. But yeah, I was a big Saved by the Bell guy through and through. And I, to the point, you're gonna laugh at me, but like Elizabeth Berkley was Jessie Spano, and like that movie where she's like topless was like one of the, so. But funny story about me. For number 3, we revisited on the Bachelor Party, guys. Eastbound and Down was for me one of the most funniest, culturally hilarious things I have watched, and I was in college. Maybe I was in my like kind of shithead stage. I don't know, man. It's amazing. It just, to me, it's freaking hilarious, and would absolutely be canceled with what they put on that on HBO. But that's what I like about HBO, right? They're allowed to do those things.
I don't know. The Righteous Gemstones is the same as Eastbound and Down.
Well, and you're right, it is.
Play with it,
It really is. It really.
I started that show after the Bash at the Beach too, by the way, and it is fantastic.
It's amazing. And like I said, that's what's so hard for me when we talked about TV shows, guys. There's so many that I could name that I think are so good.
Yeah.
But that for number 2, HBO, guys, Silicon Valley was a big one for me.
That's one I haven't watched, but I want to watch it.
I caught on that really early. It just was very funny. I only actually most recently watched the final season. I didn't want it to end. but there's a scene, and for those that have watched it, where they're at the conference, and I've never laughed so hard watching a TV show when they are doing that scene, or the one where they're trying to calculate if they're going to let this guy die based on his calculations for the rocket going off or whatever. Like they've got a SWOT analysis on the back of the screen that I don't think gets enough credit for TV lore as a prop in the background. And Jones, you talked about it. Number one for me, I've been watching this show since the beginning. It's Parks and Rec.
Fantastic, Joey.
Some of the greatest TV show characters of all time, in my opinion. Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman did an absolute unbelievable job. Aziz Ansari did a fantastic job. You got some great actors and actresses that have gone on to other things. You brought in Rob Lowe for a while. You brought in Adam, what's his face, in for a while as Ben. It's great. It strikes every chord. Everybody's relatable. Little Sebastian, we didn't talk about him earlier either. I could go on. Little Sebastian. I could go on and on, guys. It is just unbelievable. And just,
do you have a Mouse Rat T-shirt?
I wish I did. I wish I was a groupie.
Can you name all of Andy's band names?
There's too many. Well, that's a good band name. Or we even talked about April Ludgate. April Ludgate. We can talk about everybody else.
She's hilarious.
Ray, I can't think of Ray's character right now, but she's a wonderful actress. Gary Gergich. We can talk about that. That character's fantastic. Even Mark Brandanowitz in the early season before they dumped him was fantastic.
Oh, he was good. Yeah.
Let's not forget about Tom Haverford.
Well, that's why I said Aziz Ansari. Yeah, but you've got the other John Ralphio, his sister. You've got the other
those two were so
extra
funny.
Characters that come in. Don't forget about Ron Swanson's 3 ex-wives, Megan Mullally, his actual wife. Yeah, I go on and on, guys. It just struck every chord with me. It was one of those TV shows that I got all my friends into that they enjoyed watching. I was like, you guys gotta watch this. It's great. So that's it for me, number one. I will make one final plug, guys. If you have not watched The Rehearsal yet, some of the most crazy stuff I've ever seen on HBO right now.
I gotta get there.
I just can't fathom what's going on. I can't figure out if it's real. It has to be, but it's not. I don't know. That's a quick plug in regards to that show right now. If you haven't watched it, check it out.
It's on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Bonus question, guys.
It's
favorite cartoon. Favorite cartoon growing up.
Favorite cartoon.
Of whatever. It doesn't have to be when you're a child. Could be as your adult. Whatever.
Hey Arnold or Doug?
I was going to say this is mine.
I would have said
Hey Arnold.
I probably would have said Doug, or I would have said Rugrats probably when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Nickelodeon was great when we were growing up. It was at peak. Between Kenan and Kel, all that, Double Dare. It was at its peak.
Yep.
Yeah, Kenan, or is it Kel? Which one is it that's on Saturday Night Live?
Kenan.
Man, he's really built a career. I don't know what Kel's up to, but Kenan, he is on fire. And he's been on Saturday Night Live for probably the longest
couple, probably 2 decades, maybe.
Yeah.
He's the longest tenured one, I believe, right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be. Yeah. Well, that was an awesome super high five. And pretty interesting that we all had pretty well different shows.
Yeah, I wrote down the other ones I'd watched. Jones, I've watched Dexter. I've watched Breaking Bad as well. Also great shows. I've had a couple other honorable mentions. I think Succession's fantastic out there right now.
I was thinking about that too. I would have put, actually, I think I thought about this earlier. And then when I started writing them down, actually, I was like, I forgot about it. But Chuck, do y'all remember that show?
Yeah, it was on NBC. I never got into it.
Oh, man. I binged that show.
He was a department store detective. What was he? A department store something, right?
Yeah, basically he was like a part of the Geek Squad. And he ended up being a spy.
That's what it was. There you go.
And it was so good. It's just one of the good guys, man. He was good.
Well, and we talked about this offline, but if we went to Netflix shows, like Ozark's a great show too. There's a ton of great.
That's an awesome show.
And I'm thankful for the different platforms, but we mentioned with Mike, there's just too many of them nowadays.
There's way too many.
And unfortunately, cable television is taking a back seat on all this. No one goes to cable to watch their shows anymore. That's not the first priority. In my opinion, maybe you guys would tell me differently.
Yeah.
No, you could almost watch all those shows on.
You could talk about Grey's Anatomy. Some people would talk about as a top 5 show. As another one we threw out there. I could throw out there for you guys.
It's been on a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's other. ER was a big show. I mean, we could talk about Doctor. I mean,
House.
depends on what you like. Suits, guys. I didn't mention Suits. I'm a big Suits fan. Like
I
I
just said
that was a good
cartoons,
one.
but Simpsons. I mean, you either
Oh,
love
yeah.
Simpsons or you hate them, and they've been on
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
MASH
Fellas,
was on for years back in the day. People loved MASH. I mean,
Oh yeah.
We put together a good show here, fellas. Viewmaster Mike had him on. If you don't follow Viewmaster Mike and you're still listening, go do that. Go follow us as well on Instagram. And like I said, if we get 1,000 followers by Saturday, I'm giving away coffee to 10 people. So do that. Go to our website.
Thanks for stopping by and lending us your ears today. If you like what you heard, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Why Not Us Media, or stop by our YouTube page, the Why Not Us Media Podcast, or hit up our website at www.whynotus.media.